My pet peeve is rude people. People who don't respect social norms. You've seen them all the time. We know what they look like. We deal with them on a constant basis. Example, you could be at line in Timmy's waiting to get your coffee. And then suddenly out of nowhere you see someone who comes in behind you, walks 3 people ahead of you, and just starts chatting up with their friend for a good 5-10 minutes until the line gets moving. And then the friend that they were talking to is about to get served. And oh, what a coincidence, they're here. Oh, they might as well just get their coffee, right? They didn't wait like everyone else. They just cut, and that's rude. And everyone in front and behind that person will just look at them and be like, man, that's really rude. But they just don't care. We run into those kinds of people all the time. People who just couldn't be bothered to act like decent folk. And that's a problem. That really irritates me because those people have an impact on other people. And the worst part is, they just don't care about the effect that they have on other people. For example, me, just waiting in line to get my Timmy's, whatever, that's no big deal. I can wait another 5 minutes. It's just coffee. I don't need it that badly. Let's just say, for example, that you were in line for heart surgery, and then this is a critical operation. This was to save your life, and they use the same system of queuing up, whereas the first person to sign up is the first person to receive whatever they want. Would it be fair to let someone who just has a buddy up closer on the list get near him, and they can both get the transplants and you possibly die? No, that's not fair. Hypothetical scenarios aside, being rude does lead to social recourse. Don't get me wrong, we all make social faux pas every once in a while, and one rude act does not a rude person make, but a series of rude actions can have a negative effects on your relationship with others and give you the status of a rude person. In international law, being looked upon in a negative light can have detrimental effects to your country because of poor relations with your neighbors around the world. Take North Korea, for example. Threats of aggression are unarguably rude acts and have led to sanctions of North Korea by the United Nations and its member states. This is an example of how being rude can bite you in the butt. The main difference between refusing social norms in regular society versus refusing norms in the international community is simple. In the international communities, we have this thing called preemptory norms. These are methods of operation and relations that have been going on between states for years and have been seen as a constant and a quasi-pillar for law. Because when you're interacting with countries that follow these preemptory norms, you are expected to follow the same norms. If you don't, there can be political recourse. North Korea is one example that I just gave. There's tons of others. Regardless of what country you are, you will always face the same reaction, a big fat slap in the face from the rest of the international community. But that's not always the case because you always have those glaring exceptions to the norms that other people follow. You know, the big strong dude that even though he does disrespect you, you kind of can't do anything to stop him. That gives us countries like the United States who constantly violate customs, international laws, and the norms that they themselves put forward in the forms of the United Nations and its treaties. For example, Article 38 of the Statute of the International Court of Justice states that the court, whose function is to decide in accordance with international law, such disputes as are submitted to it shall apply A. International conventions where general or practical established rules expressly recognized by its consenting states, and B. International customs as evidence of general practice accepted as law.